Hey, and welcome to KREED'S Restorations. Today we're going to be doing a G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero O-ring repair. We're going to be working on the Stinger driver, which is actually the gray Cobra officer, and we got an officer down. To do this repair, we're going to need two items, a small Phillips head screwdriver and a bag of O-rings. Not onion rings, O-rings. Although onion rings probably wouldn't be a problem, except then you'd have grease on your fingers. You know what? No, just do O-rings. But anyway, you can get a bunch of these online. I get them on eBay, and they're very inexpensive. As you can see, the driver's already in multiple pieces, so we're going to pick him up, and on the back there's a screw. Now you take your Phillips head screwdriver and you just want to unscrew that. Remember, lefty-loosey, because if you turn it too far to the right, you might damage him. So after you unscrew the screw, it'll simply fall out of his back. At least it does most of the time. Then you want to go ahead and pry apart the figure. But you want to be careful when you're doing this because there are some small pegs on the inside of the body, and you certainly don't want to break those off. Generally, you can kind of wiggle his head and his arms, and he will tend to just pop apart. And once you have him open, you'll see the old dead rubber band inside. Sometimes it takes a second, but they will pop apart, as you can see. Now there you go, right there is the old rubber band, and it is pretty dry rotted and looking pretty nasty. Here it is compared to a brand new one, and obviously there's a really big difference. I tend to stretch out the new O-ring a little bit before I put it in. I don't know if this is really necessary, it's just something that I do. After that, there are two different ways you can reassemble the figure. One is to take the O-ring and hook it onto the legs now. And then you want to feed the hook and the rubber band through the hips. Just be extremely careful with the hips because the crotch piece is very easy to break off. Once you get the hips over the hook, just take your screwdriver and pull the rubber band up and through. At this point, you're going to grab the back of the figure, take the peg inside the body, and put it through the rubber band. Once you do that, you want to put your finger on the rubber band and hold it in place, and then pull it up so that the back is now inside the waist, and you want to push the rubber band down as far as you can. At this point, you want to start reassembling the figure. So you want to grab the arms and put those in place, and the head as well. Now, this can be fairly difficult if you don't have big fingers like me. And you'll note I'm not putting any pressure on the crotch there. But you want to kind of hold the shoulders in place, grab the head and slide it into the neck hole. And then at this point, you have to take the body and basically pop it down over all the parts. Like I said, it's pretty hard to do, and I actually get it here on the first try, but this can take a few seconds to actually pop back together, so don't be discouraged. Once you have the figure fully assembled, at that point, you simply take the screw and put it back into his back and then tighten it up with your Phillips head screwdriver. Remember not to go too tight because you're not trying to damage the figure. You just want to make sure the arms and the neck aren't loose. And there you go. You got a fully repaired Cobra officer, and all you needed was some O-rings from eBay and a Phillips head screwdriver. But wait, there's more. What if you have a figure who needs a replacement and he hasn't popped apart yet? As you can see, the legs and waist are super loose on this guy. He's going to have trouble standing. So the process is fairly similar. You're going to take the screw out of the back and pop him open. At that point, you disassemble the upper body, just like I said earlier. Just kind of wiggle the arms and the neck, and he should kind of pop apart. Once you've got him popped apart, you'll see now that the rubber band is in the way. So you want to extremely carefully remove the hip piece from this. You're going to have to very, very slowly slide it out, and you don't want to even try to force that rubber band around it because any pressure could snap that crotch so easily, especially on these early figures like the 82s and 83s. At this point now, you can just pop the rubber band off the legs, stretch out your brand new O-ring to your liking, or skip this step entirely because, like I said, I don't know if it's necessary. And now we're going to reassemble him in a different way. This time, we're going to put the crotch on first, instead of the rubber band like we did last time. Now we take the rubber band and we stick it down in and put it over the hook. Generally, you just want to take the rubber band and push it down where it's near it. Then you take your screwdriver head and just with a little bit of fiddling, you should be able to pop it right over the hook. The reason I showed you this alternate method is because sometimes this is easier. Sometimes it's easier to do it the other way. I find it depends on the figure. After that, the assembly is relatively the same. You want to put the back piece in, make sure it's in the waist, and make sure you push down the rubber band. Of course, during all of this, you want to hold it in a way where you don't put any pressure on the crotch because that's no good. Then you go ahead and pop on the arms, pop on the head, and snap the body in place. And then you just put the screw back in, and there you go. As you can see, he is now much sturdier and will stand no problem. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed this first episode of Creed's Restorations. Don't worry, going forward, this will not replace Creed's collection. I just had an incredibly busy week and I didn't have time to get one made. Instead, I decided to put out this restoration video because I already shot this a few weeks ago and all I had to do was do voiceover for it. So it made my life a lot easier. But now I can focus on next week, which is going to be the return of the 4 weeks of Halloween. That's right, for the month of October, we will be looking at spooky themed toys across all 4 episodes of Creed's collection and all 4 episodes of Modern Mondays for a total of 8 spine-tingling toy videos. I'm super excited for that, and I hope you are too. Thanks for watching, and please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next Monday for the start of the return of the 4 weeks of Halloween.